To the Brahma Kumaris, the next normal. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. Happy day to you. Happy day, peaceful day, loving day, profound day, powerful day. What are you intuitively sensing? What are you intuitively sensing for yourself and even for our collective humanity? Today's topic is one that's very dear to me. And on many occasions in conversations, I'll always joke and tell people, I'm Pisces, I can't help but be intuitive or very deeply connected to some sort of a mysticism. It just comes with the zodiac for sure. But look at the times we're in. And I'm not talking about the pandemic. I'm talking about maybe the last 20 or 30 years. We're in a completely sort of a different stage of interpretation. We have just inherited an incredible tool called the smartphone in the last 10 years. And the whole world now is in the palm of our hands. That's a lot of intuition there. There are things going on up here that hasn't even reached here. And many of us actually innately are born with intuition. We are naturally born as intuitive people. That's why children tend to be able to kind of sense danger, or they can feel individuals. There's this knowing in you that perhaps doesn't have proof, but intuition gives you this sort of a free flow vibration. It just flows through you as if it's signaling you something, and it moves on. Imagine this. We are all born with intuition, like we're born with skin, hair, eyes, sound perhaps. We are born with intuition. What I've observed, what reduces it or kills it, is when we start to grow in life and focus a lot on the five senses: sight, smell, taste, sound, touch. And imagine your soul. The soul is immortal, eternal, imperishable, and it's naturally pure. Naturally pure. It's naturally peaceful too. And what happens when we stop being soul aware, which is more coming from the feeling and the consciousness that the way I need to use my senses, my eyes, ears, is to look through them in a pure and peaceful way. That we've stopped practicing that. And it started to gradually get replaced by, I don't know if I'm going to see you from a pure and peaceful place, but I want to see you in a way that my energy is recorded, like I'm black, I'm white, I'm Chinese, I'm Indian, I'm tall, I'm short, I'm brown, I'm light, I'm Jewish, I'm Christian, I'm atheist. Right? We start to look at each other from those labels and limited interpretations that we carry, not only for other people. We actually are carrying those limited interpretations for ourselves. Now, just imagine if you keep repeating a particular level of consciousness for a week, something's going to change in you. If you do it for a month, something's going to change in you. If you do it for 6 months, something is definitely going to change in you. Do it for 5 years, a change will occur. Do it for 10 years. Do it for a lifetime. Do it for 5 lifetimes. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 lifetimes. Then what happens is like you start to numb your intuition, because you're using your 5 senses so much in every incarnation that you're reducing your ability to just intuitively know where to go at the right time. How did civilization exist before a camera, before a clock, before a cell phone, before a beeper, before a laptop, before a computer, before the telephone, before electricity? How did we function before electricity? What were we saying to each other? How were we saying it? How did one particular family know how to communicate with another family hours and hours away, sitting on another farm? Morse code was something that was communicated in different segments. Everybody in their homes didn't have a Morse code. So you got on a horse and you sent a message to another village. But then maybe you started to sense something. Sometimes we sense something is right. And there are times we sense something's just not going to be right. And it's interesting because sometimes people will ask me, well, what's the difference between the power of intuition and fear? And this is a really big question, and I want to thank the viewer that actually asked this question in a message. My interpretation of fear is very simple. It's anything to do with your past. But the difference with fear versus your intuition, it will come from something unfulfilled in you. The fear will definitely make you feel afraid of what you're going to do or what you shouldn't do. Fear will pull you back. Fear will give you doubt. Fear will make your heart race. Fear will question. This is the big one. Fear will question what's going to happen. Fear is embedded in the unknown, but thinks the worst results are going to come. And intuition doesn't spend that much time in your consciousness. Intuition is like a lightning. It's just like this bolt of light that just goes, tells you what to do and moves on. That's intuition is very powerful. Intuition is very present, but it gives you a premonition. It gives you an insight into what's going to happen. And you absolutely don't question it. There is no doubt in your mind. Look, you all were with me on this journey about a month ago when you heard that we had to relocate. Immediately we went on board. You know, a few days after we found our new place that's named Om Shanti Village, and it'll be Washington DC's very own retreat center now. But when we found it, Santosh was having a dream. Sister Geeta kept saying to me, aren't we going to go to that house where we used to sleep? I would see myself on the porch looking over. There would be all these signs, and then I would feel the connection to Wei and Wen, who are the owners of the home, and I would just feel like I know them. And there was just intuition that this was it. This is the space. So it's like the intuition comes as insight, intuition. It went into you, it gave you insight, but it hasn't proven itself yet. It hasn't shown you what it's going to be. But you have this feeling in your gut that yes, this is going to happen. This is it. So it's something that we've all felt and we've all been through. It just flows. Like when I get my intuition and I call it my touchings in the Brahma Kumari's teachings, we call it touchings, but the world calls it intuition. My intuition is sharp, or my touchings is sharp between 3 to 5 a.m. in the morning. And that's when I get most of my creativity and insights as to what to do, what's going to happen, how things are going to unfold. It's where my 5 senses aren't so activated early in the morning, and I'm a lot more internally reflective. And I'm just listening. I'm listening, and I'm capturing the sounds through the silence and the thoughts and the message. There are some people in the world that might look at intuition as a psychic phenomenon. Do you all remember when Marianne Williamson was running for president, and in one of the debates, Marianne Williamson said these psychic dark forces, and then the news just went, haywire, making her the most Google search candidate of the debate. So these dark psychic forces, what she was, I would say, addressing is that the algae that I use a lot, the acronym algae, that represents anger, lust, greed, attachment, and ego, it has taken so much of the intuitiveness of the personality. It has sucked so much of your original peace and your original ability to be very present, to be very pure, to be very loving, that every time you come from the consciousness of algae, it hits you. It takes more of your subtle abilities and your innate natural gifts. You can love somebody who doesn't love you back because you intuitively know at the heart of every human being is love. And you have to speak to that. It's like an intuition. I have an intuition that Sister Gita, who is with us here and entertains us every day with her memory, that she's going to get her memory back. Now, some people might call me a fool. Maybe I am. But intuitively, I sense she has the strength in her spirit to turn around that story. And so on many occasions when I physically see Sister Gita, I spiritually, internally have this little mantra. You're going to remember again. You're going to make the impossible possible. And every time I put that energy in her, I see a little bit of improvement every time. I just intuitively sense that soul is so powerful that she has the power to shock science and turn her whole formula of what she's going through around. Intuition. Maybe I'm fooling myself, but I'll tell you this, I'd much rather think and look at her in her complete form than look at her in the form that she's in now. So what is your level of intuition? Have you ever been where you felt like you should turn home and maybe do something else? Have you ever felt like you should drive to work in a different way than you're used to driving before? Have you ever felt like before the phone rings, you think of the person and you know it's that person on the other line, and there is no caller ID in those days? Remember those days when we used to get a phone call and there was no such thing as caller ID, and at one moment we thought it was so invasive that somebody would know what number was being called, and now everything is out there. It's like the whole universe has become intuitive, that it has all of this information on us, and we're the only ones who don't know. It's like technology and science has become such an intuitive machine that it actually has an idea of who we are already, and we don't know. Fascinating, huh? Can you believe it? So one of the things that I can recommend, if you'd like to try to tap into your own power of intuition, is to practice silence early in the morning. I don't believe in using our special gifts that we're given, the power of intuition, for example, to read the mind of my parent or do this with my head out there and out there. No. You use the power of intuition to get closer to God's love, knowing that intuitively, humanity cannot continue in the energetic space that they're in, where algae is motivating most of their thinking and decisions. Intuitively, you know that. You know that's just going to self-destroy. But you also intuitively know that there is a divine source and force out there, that you know that there is a God energy that exists, and you intuitively know that if and when you connect your thoughts to that God vibration intuitively, you know things will get better. Now, don't misunderstand me. That I can have a very close relationship with God, it doesn't mean that my whole life goes perfect and it's flawless. Because my relationship or connection with God isn't 24/7. So when my karmas of my past slip in, when I'm not 24/7 in remembrance of God or Baba or the divine or Allah or Jehovah or Jesus Christo, whoever and however you interpret God, But when I'm not in that frame and my consciousness is more influenced by algae, then that's different. That's not intuition, that's not picking up God. That's just me again allowing the fear to try to tell me what I should do, how I should do it, and why I should do it. But when it's your intuition and you're saying, I know intuitively the energy of God exists. And the more I, the soul, can feel the connection of the divine in my thinking, then the experience of you feel a lot more, you feel this vastness in you, the way you see your life and the lives of others. What happens, it's as if you start to feel like your capacity increases. When you're in the mode of intuition, there is this sense in which you've gotten exactly what you needed to get. You didn't even need details. You don't need details. And you know with deep conviction, this is it. Because of the flow. The flow. The thing is that many of us don't trust our intuition because it gets mixed with the fear. So I'm telling you today, try it on little things like sense if your spouse is coming home at that time, just a little bit. Or when you sense someone's walking, one of your kids are walking around in the house, or if the phone rings before you look at it, just see if you can sense the vibe of who the person is, and then you look and then you just practice it. Practice thinking and feeling beyond your five senses. Practice thinking and feeling beyond your five senses. How do you do that? First and foremost, consider yourself to be the immortal, eternal, imperishable being of light. Just for a little. I'm a soul. I'm immortal. I am eternal. I'm light. And in that state of consciousness, your intuition awakes. And then let's say that as you're in that state, you think of God, you think of the Supreme. What happens is that energy of light that you're in starts to connect to the supreme energy of light. And then the vibration of the energy of light starts to flow into your consciousness. What is it doing? It's opening you up. It's moving you from being very limited or very small in your consciousness into something much bigger. You'll be able to love more, care more, give more, see more, feel more. Because you're in check, you're connected. So try that and tell me how it feels in a message somehow in the future. I want to play one of my latest tracks on the Om Shanti album. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the album, please go to Spotify or iTunes or Amazon and let me know what you think, how you like it. It's a really wonderful, upbeat morning rise. I think it takes you into that deeper place. So here's Keep Moving on the Om Shanti album, and let's take a moment and see if you get into that vibration and that feeling tonight. keep moving no matter what. There's a flow. This thing called life. It moves us ever onward, upward, forward. Like rivers of water, it keeps moving, no matter what. Over and under and round it flows. Let the currents take you on the journey of life. Simply keep going with the flow. Keep moving, no matter what. Didn't you all love that? Isn't that a nice meditation? Can I tell you that's one of my favorite on the Om Shanti album? But I have a lot of favorites. I love Vibrations of Love, and I love Om Shanti, and I love Feeling Safe. Yikes. If you happen to have listened to the album, please let me know what your favorite one is too, as well. All right, so I'm going to do a shout out to the gang. It's been a long time. And I heard everybody loved my interview with the dentist turned Hollywood. That was with Prembai. It was a wonderful conversation that we had yesterday, so I hope you like that one. So Praveen Bhai, Om Shanti. Louise, Om Shanti. Nice to see you, nice to be with you. Bryn, hope everything is well. Diraj, Alika, Portia, Carmen, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Kailash, Indu, Meenakshi. Nice to have you, Samantha. Warm greetings to you, sweet, most elevated, wonderful, lovely, powerful, pure, inspiring Samantha. Did you receive that? Did you? Did you have an intuition that was going to happen to you today? Something amazing was going to stir your spirit and make you feel like $1 million? All right. Nikhil Kumar Joshi, Om Shanti, Shobha Ben, Indu Ben. Thank you, Indu Ben, for coming over this weekend to help us with moving. This will be our last weekend here, and next week we'll still be here. And I think we do our final moving on April 17th and 18th, and we're out of here. So we might be having a little bit of a different studio, but I'm hoping that it'll be just as pretty as this one has been for me. This is just a feeling about the studio now that we have, and I just love everything about it. The upgrade in the production that Brother Santosh has done, and I feel so comfortable just sitting here with you all, like I got my hand on the table. The table has love in about 30 different languages, and I'm just with you. Life is good, I'm just with you. I can't wait to show you all the promo for Om Shanti Village and to start to invite everybody there. We're going to have a virtual event on June 12th at 11 a.m. EDT, so please save the date. We're fixing some guests and tweaking some language in it, but we'll have Carolyn Mace, Jean Houston, Bishop Carlton Pearson, Sister Mohini, Sister Shivani, Louis Gossett Jr., Carolyn Mace. So it's going to be a really, really special inauguration and blessing for Baba's new retreat center in Washington, D.C. It's funny how things have a way of intuitively happening. I remembered how I would feel intuitively that we were going to have to move. But you know, you just keep putting in the best because that's just what the Spirit does. And I literally had to almost get the boot in order for that intuition to become real. Isn't that something? There's something else. Anyway, everyone, lots of love. Portia, thank you for all the work that you're doing in helping to maneuver the funding to pay off for the retreat center. You are such a godsend. Portia Davidson. By the way, everyone, Portia's still having some issues with her throat, so she's not been feeling 100% well. So let us give her some nice throat chakra vibrations and just give Baba's light around her throat that she just starts to feel good. I believe in collective energy. When everyone's pure wishes is there for each other, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? So thanks to Portia for stepping up and saying, don't worry, Sister Jenna, we're going to pay off for the Om Shanti Village by the end of May. That's our goal. That's our deadline. We're going to get it done. No problem. Everything is so easy. We're also going to have a nice campaign on naming the peacock, which I'll begin to show you a video of that sometime perhaps next week. We'll be able to kind of update you a little bit more on all the movements. Right now, renovations are taking place inside. And all of the garden angels have been going over on the weekends to get the garden looking so pretty, and all the color of the color theme is just all yellow, just yellow. So that's also becoming very, very pretty. And to just all the workers that are there that are just trying to put all that love in it too, we send our good wishes to them. And to Wei and Wen, who have been the most gracious individuals that I've met in a very long time. So I'm sending them 100 times, million times blessings. Blessings to them. Blessings. And that they also find the perfect home that gives them as much joy as their home has been giving us. Have a wonderful night. Om Shanti, everyone. Stay safe. Start your day off with a smile. The Brahma Kumari's meditation museums are still closed due to the pandemic. And since the lockdown, we have enjoyed meeting you on YouTube and Facebook. The next normal with Sister Jenna has been our way of staying connected. The show offers answers to everyday life challenges, meditations, conversations with guests, and moments of laughter. It is your pause to reconnect, elevate, and understand better your purpose for being here. Monday meditations will take you into deep stillness, away from the noise, with a special feature titled Drishti, Seeing into the Being. The rest of the days will offer you food for thought, and Positive Fridays will inspire you and leave you wanting more. Thank you all for the support that you have given us over the years, and we wish you and your loved ones health, wealth, and happiness. Remember to subscribe and click the bell button to stay connected. All the very best once again, and we hope to see you soon.